any questions, feel free to write them in the chat throughout the dialogue, and there will be a Q&A session at the end, and you're welcome to mute yourself then and ask away. We will also be muting or finishing the recording by then. It is important to note that safety is our #1 concern and priority at the moment, but we are hopeful that travel will resume very shortly, hopefully for next year or the year after. We anticipate some fall programs running and are currently recruiting for the winter and spring of 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. So hello everyone, my name is Dalia Gomez. I am a peer advisor at the Study Abroad Center. I am also an international studies major. I am completing the honors thesis for the honors program as well. And I had the honor to study abroad with UCEP in Korea, Chile, and in the Netherlands. It is a pleasure to be here today, and I will pass it on to Marimar to introduce herself.
Thank you, Dalia. Hi, everyone. My name is Marimar. I am a peer academic advisor at the School of Social Sciences. I'm a 5th-year international studies and public health policy double major, and I was able to study abroad during my 3rd year through UCEP Global and International Studies program in Yokohama, Japan. So I'm very happy to be here with you all today as well.
Thank you, Marimar. Okay, so what is study abroad? So essentially, study abroad is any program in which a student goes abroad. So contrary to the belief, a program does not have to be focused on one's studies. You can also complete an internship, do volunteer work, and focus on your individual growth. All majors can go abroad, and you can complete major, minor, or GE requirements, or general education requirements. You also don't have to take courses pertaining to the area of your study. You can take courses simply out of curiosity as well. One of my favorite things about studying or taking courses in my major abroad is that I get to learn the topic from a perspective that I would not have gotten had I just studied at UCI. So I was able to complete all of my international studies major upper division requirements abroad. That's about like 8 courses. And completing all the courses needed for my regional focus on East Asia and my functional focus on issues and institutions for the IS major. I was even able to complete my foreign language requirements of level 2C in Spanish, which is actually necessary for the honors program. Marimar, can you tell us a little bit of the types of courses you took while abroad?
Yes. So as Dalia mentioned, you can take courses that don't pertain to your major. So I took an education course taught by a UCSB a graduate professor and a beginner Japanese language class, since I did not know Japanese before I left. I also took 2 courses that counted for my regional focus on Asia as well for my international studies major, and completed a teaching assistant internship. So since your host university may offer unique courses not offered at UCI, y'all should consider taking one, even if it doesn't pertain to your major. It's a great opportunity to learn about a new topic from another point of view.
Yes, thank you, Marimar. And there are so many benefits to study abroad. We just talked a little bit about the academic benefits, but there are also professional and personal benefits. One of the other benefits that I had when I studied abroad was a professional one. I got to study, when I studied abroad in Chile, I got to complete an internship for credit at NGO FEMA, and FEMA stands for Fiscalía del Medio Ambiente, or environmental prosecutors, and they're a non-governmental organization that focuses on amplifying the reach of environmental policies that the Chilean government promised to complete but has yet to do so. Over the course of 4 months, I completed over 140 hours interning with them as a project intern. There, I also learned to better my communication and problem-solving skills as I learned to become flexible with the projects that I got to be a part of. These are skills that I got to better and constantly use in my position at the Study Abroad Center. And so actually, if you look on the right-hand corner, that is actually like a little cabildo, which is kind of like the environment's like meeting, or not, sorry, a neighborhood meeting. And so I got to do that, not necessarily for my internship and to receive hours, but it was more because I was really curious about what the Chilean people themselves had to say about the environment. And so I got to do that with them. And I was really happy to do that. Marimar, can you tell us a little bit about a benefit that you had while you were abroad?
Yes. That sounds amazing, Dalia. Thank you for sharing. So I took a teaching assistant internship while I was in Japan. So this counted as course credit and gave me the opportunity to engage directly with first-year local students at my host university. I'd meet weekly with a professor and attend her class to observe, assist the students in their work. I took attendance and then also facilitated the class warm-ups. So I learned what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to lesson planning, and even gave the students a presentation on the UC system in case they were interested in studying abroad here. So the connections I made with the students and professor are considered by me the most meaningful, just because I was able to make more friends that way. And it was so sweet when students would come up to me around the university just to say hi or wave or just hug me as well. So I was very like touched by that. So I try to keep in touch with the professor, and she's someone I'd love to visit if I were ever to go back. And it makes me feel warm to know that I have these connections in Japan.
That was really lovely to hear, Marima. Thank you for sharing that. I'm a little bit envious. I wish I got to know my professors more on that kind of level. But you have so many options if you do go abroad. So you get to choose from when selecting a program. You can choose based on the course you take. Fun fact, UCAP only has partnerships with universities that can offer the same or higher quality of education and resources as the UC system can. So you can take courses from prestigious universities all around the world. You can go based on the academic term if you want to study abroad during the fall or spring semester, summer, or even during the year. I say a semester as most universities around the world use semesters. So there are less programs available for winter or spring quarter specifically, but they are there. So you can definitely do a little bit more research and you can find them. Most programs are taught in English, so you can study abroad in a foreign country where the dominant language is not English and you still can excel academically. Or if you'd like, you can also study and improve your foreign language skills. For example, like I mentioned earlier, when I studied abroad in South Korea, I didn't know the language, but I learned it when I was abroad. I only knew 5 words when I first arrived. I knew yes, no, please, thank you, and 화장실, which is bathroom. So I knew the basics. And when I was studying abroad in Chile, I completed the whole semester in Spanish. And there was definitely a learning curve at first, but my Spanish skills had improved immensely. Some programs even let you decide where you will be living. So some programs offer a homestay where you will stay with the family. And you might even have the option of living in a dorm or have the chance to live independently in an apartment. Marima, can you tell us about how you chose your program?
Yes, so I knew I wanted to study abroad in Japan just because this was my first time ever traveling. So I wanted to go somewhere that, I dreamt of. So I started looking at programs in the country, specifically ones taught in English, since I didn't really know Japanese. Just like Dahlia, I only knew like 5 words before I left. So I was looking through the programs and I was stuck between two because I really wanted to go during spring quarter. So I'm going to be really honest. The reason I chose the one that I went to was solely because it was a month longer. So one of them was from April to late June, and the one I went to was April to late July. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could maximize my experience. So I'm like, okay, I'm picking that one. Um, so I couldn't have picked a better program, honestly. Like I lived in a single dorm with my own bathroom, and I lived in this dormitory with other international students and even local students as well. So it was about like 30 minutes away from campus walking, but we also had the option of getting a bus pass and just taking the bus to the university, which was what I did as well. And then also they had like this buddy program where they assigned you to 2 local students. So these students were basically like your first friends on campus and in the country. So that was really nice because I was able to meet my 2 closest friends there. And additionally, what caught my eye in this program is that although I lived in a single dorm, they also gave us the option to stay to do a homestay for a weekend in a Japanese household, which I did as well. And I met my host mother that way, and that was very sweet too. And not only that, my program also included a 4-day Hiroshima trip. So I learned a lot about Japanese history during World War II because of that as well. And it included like the bullet train ticket and all of that.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing, Marima. I wish I had gone to Japan now. So a common misconception actually of studying abroad is that you cannot afford it, but that is not actually true. You can definitely afford going abroad. Some programs cost the same or even less than studying at UCI. Your financial aid goes with you and adjusts to the total cost of your program. On the left, you will see a snapshot of the costs of study abroad on the UCAP program. Studying at UCI for a year costs close to 35,000, but studying abroad in Korea for a year costs close to 29,000 for 10 weeks more of instruction. So studying for the fall quarter at UCI and studying abroad for the spring semester in Korea costs about 26,000, which is cheaper than both options that I mentioned previously, and they're also cheaper than just studying at UCI. So it really does matter which kind of when you go abroad, and that it's important to know that you can afford to go abroad. Please note that there is more financial aid and scholarships available to you during the year. So studying in the summer might be more costly, but there are lots of scholarships that you can still apply to. So if you're interested in studying abroad, you should start planning now. You can go abroad as early as the summer of your freshman year or as late as the final quarter as a UCI student. Use the academic planning worksheet to plan and decide what types of classes you can take abroad. And so that's on the left right there. It really is up to you to decide when you want to study abroad. That can be based on your finances, your academics, or personal choices, which include taking into consideration your club involvement. If you plan to complete research or any other personal concerns you may have. Marimar, can you tell us a little bit about how you finance your time abroad?
Yes, so my financial aid went with me. And I also applied to a few scholarships that helped me a lot, like the UCAP Promise Award and the JASO Scholarship, which is JASSO. This scholarship is specific to Japanese study abroad programs. So I am low income, so that was a concern of mine to finance the trip. But since I was a first year, my dream was to study abroad during my time at UCI. So I saved money when I could, and definitely that helped. And also just the scholarships helped as well. And thankfully, there's many resources. Even if you start planning now and you want to study abroad next year, like in the winter or spring, there's definitely resources that you could look into. Like the JASO scholarship awarded me off of one sentence on why I need it. So literally it was just like one sentence and they gave me the scholarship. So definitely apply if you're eligible, because you could definitely get money from it.
Yes, thank you, Marimar, for sharing. I also am I'm heavily dependent on financial aid. And I studied abroad 3 times, and I did so because my financial aid covered most of my costs, and there were many scholarships that I applied to. I didn't win that many, but the one that really made the impact was the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship, and that one actually paid for all my travel and food expenses while I studied abroad in South Korea. So there are definitely ways to make study abroad affordable to you. Simply come by to the Study Abroad Center, and we can talk more about that in a personal meeting. So you can, right here, when to apply. So deadlines and the process to apply vary by program. Most programs are not competitive, meaning that if you meet the program's requirements and you submit your application by the program's deadline, you will most likely be accepted into the program of your choice. You should plan to apply 10 to 14 months before the term you want to go abroad for. You can find the table on the left, right there, the UCAP application timeline. You can find that table at the Study Abroad website as well. So plan to visit us to get assistance throughout your planning and application process. I will now pass it on to Marimar to go over how you can go abroad as a social science major.
Yes, thank you, Dalia. So there's a link on this slide. Feel free to take note of it or take a picture of it as well. So at this page, you will definitely find a lot of resources if you're thinking about studying abroad. So we have course credit petition information, which means that you're petitioning for your courses abroad to count for requirements at UCI. So for myself, I did that after I came back just because my classes weren't available till I was there. But honestly, like there's some programs that let that list accessible to you even before you go. So you could definitely get started on that before you even go, just to make sure that your requirements will be fulfilled. And then you could also email our academic advisors. So you could definitely check out the EAP planning tools, and you could send it to the corresponding advisor on the page. And they definitely give you more details about when you come back from studying abroad too. Okay, so not only that, on this page, you can also find other resources like informational sheets based on your major. So they're very detailed sheets talking about programs of interest that could definitely benefit you and your major requirements. We also have study abroad academic program plans. So you could definitely see, like start planning, okay, like maybe when I go abroad, I want to do electives or I want to focus on major requirements, just planning on what you want to fulfill when you're abroad. So that's all on that page. We also have study abroad returnee highlights. So these are videos of students who have studied abroad. You could notice one of our academic advisors is in one of these videos. So they definitely talk about why you should go abroad and definitely encourage it. So you should definitely check out these short videos. And then there's a lot of other links and resources to check out too. And then finally, we have an amazing in-depth program featured by Rosie. She was a former study abroad peer mentor. I met her in Japan actually. So these are very detailed. Definitely check them out about her experiences on how she applied or her experience in each program. So definitely check it out. So you could find all of this in that same page. So I'll pass it back to Dalia.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marimad. So now you can learn how to get started. So how do you get started? So I suggest you visit our website first. Go to www.studyabroad.uci.edu. Click under students and select how to study abroad. There you will see a list of clickable banners with the steps of studying abroad. Start by completing your UCI Abroad profile. By doing this, you kind of let the Study Abroad Center know what your interests are. And by doing so, we can then send you personalized information based on your responses and your interests. The next steps include choosing your program, applying to your program, completing your pre-departure requirements, going abroad, and then continuing your global learning experience once you are back at UCI. So we suggest you come talk to us. Come talk to us at the Study Abroad Center. We can help you find a program that works best for you and your interests. You can start by booking an appointment by going to the Contact Us tab on the Study Abroad website and click on Book a Virtual Advising Appointment. Could you go on to the next slide, please, Marima? Wonderful, yes. Advising hours are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. On the left are the Study Abroad peer advisors who are present to answer your questions or share their own personal experiences abroad. Everyone's active except for Michelle, because Michelle actually graduated in the fall quarter. So she's no longer working with us, but we're all there to answer your questions. You can also keep in touch with us and up to date on the Study Abroad events by following us on Instagram and on YouTube by using the handle at UCI Abroad. I will pass it on to Marima so she can explain how you can contact the School of Social Sciences.
Yes, so if you have any questions about, once you are getting into that plan and you know what program you want to go to, or just any step in the process of study abroad, you could definitely email our joint academic advisor email, which is soci@uci.edu, or any one of our individual academic advisors, which can be seen on the right. They're all amazing, so feel free to email any one of them. You could also email me at our joint peer academic email at soccipaa@uci.edu and keep in contact or just keep updated with our events at both our Instagrams. So we have at UCI Socsci PAAs, and then we also have at Socsci Study Abroad, which we focus more on study abroad and just any opportunities that the Study Abroad Center also posts. And I'll pass it back to Dalia.
Wonderful, thank you, Mariman. So that basically concludes the majority of the presentation. We're actually now at the Q&A section. So I want to thank everyone who joined us today and who will watch the recording later. If you'd like to turn off the recording now, Marima, that would be wonderful.
Yes, let me go ahead.